Hello viewers and welcome to Info This TV. Currently, the special investigator to investigate the Central Bank of Nigeria and related entities in the person of Jim Osanyade Obazi has recovered over 12 trillion naira looted fund, mostly by members of the former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. This was posted on Twitter by Jackson Ude, a journalist, and the tweet, which has since gone viral, was liked by over 800 people and reposted by 733 others as of the last count. The former CBN governor, in the person of Godwin Emefiele, allegedly returned 4 trillion naira and gave up ownership of 6 banks linked to him, while a deputy governor, Tunde Lemo, refunded $5 million. The committee has also rejected several millions of dollars in bribe offered from former members of the Buhari's government. Ude also tweeted, "I have been reliably informed that since the commencement of this program, about 2.1 trillion naira out of the banknotes previously held outside the banking system had been successfully retrieved. This represents about 80% of such funds." Now, governors elected under the umbrella of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC appealed to the then President Muhammadu Buhari to allow both the old and the new Naira notes to coexist to ease the suffering and bring succor to Nigerians. The former Nigerian governor, Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, had, after a meeting between the governors and Buhari, said that Nigerians were suffering and traders were losing their goods due to a lack of patronage. Also, a senior advocate of Nigeria, in the person of Falana, has also said that the embattled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, and the management of the Apex Bank under his leadership ought to be prosecuted for incitement and culpable homicide, having misled Nigerians to believe that sufficient cash was distributed to commercial banks to replace the trillions of nairas mopped up free system. And according to Falana, 3.5 trillion naira old naira notes were mopped up from the system, with only 402 billion naira released to deposit banks. During the implementation of the Naira redesign policy adopted under the Emefiele's leadership at the bank, Falana also lamented that Nigerians were caused acute hardship by the Central Bank of Nigeria under the leadership of Emefiele with the Naira swap and redesign policy. Hence, the Apex Bank should pay compensation to the families of those who were killed as a result of the incitement of members of the public. We should recall in January that the CBN claimed that it had supplied commercial banks in the country with enough cash in line with its currency design policy, with Emefiele saying then that at least 1.9 trillion naira old notes had been returned to banks by Nigerians, with 500 billion naira more to go. Now, so far and since the commencement of this program, according to Emefiele, we have collected about 1.9 trillion naira leaving us with about 900 billion naira. The governors also added that while the CBN mopped up over 2 trillion naira of the old notes, it printed only 300 billion naira, which was not enough for the country. And also due to the hardship caused to Nigerians, Falana and Falana's chamber, however, wrote to the central bank on February 16, 2023, requesting information on the disbursement of the new naira notes to the banks. In its response dated September 13, 2023, which was signed by Aminu Mohammedu, for the director and secretary of the board, the Apex Bank provided the details of funds disbursed to banks between November 23, 2022 and February 24, 2023. Now, in his words, we held several meetings with our deposit money banks and provided them with guidance, notes on processes they must adopt in the collection of old notes and distributions of the new notes to all Nigerians. These include specific directives to DMBs to load new notes into their ATMs nationwide to ensure an equitable, transparent machines for distributions of the new notes to all Nigerians. We are happy that so far the exercise has achieved a success rate of over 75% of the 2.7 trillion naira held outside the banking system. Nigerians in the rural areas and villages, the aged and vulnerable, have had the opportunity to swap their old notes, leveraging the Agent Naira Swap initiative as well as the CBN senior staff nationwide sensitization team exercise, Emefiele had said. And according to the information, the Apex Bank only disbursed 402 billion naira to banks within the period, while it mopped up 3 trillions of nairas from the system. Trillions of naira from the system. The information says Access Bank got 45.6 billion naira, Citibank got 1.4 billion naira, Ecobank received about 19 billion, First Bank PLC got 36.8 billion naira, FCMB got 20.5 billion naira, and Fidelity Bank got 21.5 billion naira. Others include Zenith Bank, which got 48.8 billion naira, UBA 41.1 billion naira, Union Bank 19.7 billion naira, Unity Bank 12.5 billion naira, Wema Bank 12.1 billion naira, Polaris Bank received 14.8 billion naira, and Standard IBCT Bank got 16.2 billion naira. Globus Bank got 3.6 billion naira. And amongst others, Falana, in a statement, also said that as of January 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria claimed that it had supplied the commercial banks in the country with enough cash in line with its currency design policy. The Apex Bank also purportedly directed security agents to arrest and prosecute banks and bank officials who were accused of sabotaging the new currency policy. Based on the statement, Nigerians trooped to the banks to collect cash as the cash was insufficient and customers became angry. We all know about the ordeals and saga that happened during the scarcity of the currency which was produced during the new redesigned notes. Now, having misled Nigerians to believe that sufficient cash was distributed to commercial banks to replace the sum of 3.5 trillion naira rather mopped up from customers, Mr. Godwin Emefiele and the entire management of the Central Bank of Nigeria ought to be prosecuted for the incitement and culpable homicide, in addition to the Central Bank of Nigeria, and should rebuild the bank buildings that were destroyed and pay compensations to families of those who were killed as a result of the incitement of members of the public, and not just, surrendering 4 trillion naira to the government.